Hello, everybody, and welcome into another series preview here at the Hockey Writers. And we are into the second round now. The second round actually has started, even though the first round just ended today. But got the Golden Knights, Anaheim Ducks in the second round. New matchup because the Anaheim Ducks haven't been to the second round in forever. I got Marc Sautter, who's going to cover the Golden Knights for this video, and Justin Giampietro, who's joining me again for the Ducks. And I mean, this series could be a really good one. We don't know because we really haven't seen them in the playoffs against each other before. So we really have no history to go back on, but we're going to jump in here and start with you, Marc, and we'll start talking about the journey to the second round because the Golden Knights getting through, I mean, they're used to it going to the second round, but what was their journey to get here? Going against, I mean, the Utah Mammoth did put up a fight. I mean, they were up in the series for a little bit there. I believe it was 2-1. But then, the Golden Knights they just won 3 straight. So that's just how it went.
Yeah.
What did you see from them?
Yeah, I mean, to say that Utah put up a fight, I mean, they were up in the third period in 5 of the 6 games, right? And they won 2 of them, which means that the other 3 they ended up losing, and Vegas won, obviously. But Utah was right there in all 5 or the first 5 games, and then finally the experience of Vegas just kind of won out, right? And I think that's really what we saw, a Vegas team by the end of round 1 that has been there before, a coach that's been there before, players who have, a lot of them have won the cup with Vegas all those years ago. So that's kind of what overcame Utah. But make no mistake, man, like Vegas has not been a world beater all season long. They've really struggled to be consistent, and they have been much better under Torts. I think 12-2-1 now, including the playoffs. And I know Torts will say, I'm not doing anything, don't look at me. I'm not coaching. They're the players, but we all know that it's made a big difference. I think Mitch Marner's played a lot better, although not the best round 1 from him, at least early on. But overall, played better under him. But you run for the money, man. Like that series, if you could, if a couple the short goals that Vegas scored, Vegas is full value for their money here. But even though it was 4-2, they still by the skin of their. So it'll be interesting to see moving on against a Duck that they just took out the 2-time defending Western Conference champions. So good for Vegas, but it wasn't by some wide margin that they won that series.
Yeah. For sure. Like I say, Utah was up in the series for a bit, and it looked like they were going to go up 3-1 as well. So, I mean, the Golden Knights just kind of put it together and ended up going on. But they are going to come up against a Ducks team that Justin had. I mean, they handled the Oilers pretty well. I mean, their top players were good. Cutter Gauthier was one of their top guys. You're looking at a team that was able to shut down Connor McDavid. Yes, he was injured. I mean, of course, Oilers fans are going to look at that as an excuse. They're going to make that as an excuse that he was shut down because of that. But they did a pretty good job against all their top players. That fourth line was a big deal. So what do you think how they got here?
Yeah, it was interesting because I mentioned Ostal as like he's going to have to be good. And he wasn't. He got pulled in a game.
Yeah.
And his numbers were pretty bad. And the Oilers goalies numbers, I don't know how much better or worse they were. They were probably around the same. I don't even remember. But what was interesting is that the goaltending was overall not good for either side. Mm-hmm. But Anaheim was just the better team. Overall, they did well against, McDavid. That was kind of like the story. But I just thought they did really well to execute rush chances. That was a big one. We didn't really know how like high octane of a series it would be. I mean, the Ducks play a very aggressive style, but that really translated to the playoffs to the point where I thought I was watching 3-on-3, and it was actually 5-on-5. And the Ducks stars, they showed out. Their defensemen were really good, I think, at like creating breakouts and stuff, and that helped, their rush game. That's how they score goals, and they were, I don't know what their power play numbers were exactly, but I think they did well on there too as well. So it was just a good effort from the Ducks. Like, maybe you get the goaltending the next series. I mean, like, defensively, there were some lapses, I think, and that the Oilers took advantage of. But when you compare that offense to maybe Vegas's, who knows? Maybe this is a better matchup for the Ducks. But we'll see when that time comes.
For sure. I mean, they did a really good, like I say, they were going up against some pretty big stars in Edmonton. Yes, they weren't all 100%, but you're looking at, they were the better team, hungrier team, quicker team. Jackson Lacombe was really good in that series. And he's come, I think, a little bit out of nowhere over the last few seasons. I don't think 2 seasons ago you would say he was their best defenseman. It hasn't been in the league very long either. But it's probably a guy we'll talk about as we go through. So let's talk about some storylines heading into here. I mean, this is 2 Pacific Division rivals. They've gone against each other all season. And now the playoffs, of course, different animal. But what do you think, Marc, about the Golden Knights? What are storylines that you're going to be watching going in here?
Yeah, I think the big one for me is the goaltending battle. I think special teams battle would be a close second. I think the goaltending battle is very interesting. Carter Hart, you look at all the underlying numbers and goals expected above, blah, 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 and he was okay. You watch the series, and there's a lot of squeaky goals, a lot of soft goals, also some stretches where he played very, very well. And I think on the other side, Justin can speak to it. Dostal is kind of the same. Like, some stretches where it's beautiful, some stretches where it's not so much. And Carter Hart is it's really weird. Like, having a cup-winning goaltender on the bench, and you still just don't have the confidence to put him in. And I completely side with that decision. I wouldn't put Hill in right now either. Even though the pedigree and the resume, it just hasn't been there this season. And so that to me is a really big thing. Like, Vegas prides themselves on being able to, or at least over the years, being able to slow down play. They can score a lot if they have to, but they'd rather not. The run and gun style by the Ducks might not be as successful against Vegas as it was with the Oilers. But that being said, even though the D-core, especially the top 4 for Vegas, is very good, that goaltending, they might have to, this might have to be a 5-4, 6-4 series. Like, that just might have to be the way it is. So for me, the main one is the goaltending. We all know what Vegas can do as far as their defense, as far as the offense. Although the offense, they've been turning it on the last few games, but it took a while to kind of get going. But to me, it's what version of Carter Hart, because this Ducks team, man, if you give them like opportune looks, it's over, in my opinion. Like, if you give Cutter Gauthier those like prime real estate spots, I mean, good luck, right? So, well, that's kind of what I'm looking at as the series gets underway.
Goaltending is going to be something. I mean, you're looking at 2 pretty inexperienced. I mean, Carter Hart's got more experience than Dostal, but that's going to be something to be watching, is that goaltending matchup. See who can kind of, or is it going to be something, or are they just going to have to make sure that they're not the one allowing more goals?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Justin, what about you for the Ducks heading into this series? Like I say, their top guys were really good against the Oilers, and obviously they're going to have to be good in this one too. But what are you looking at going into here?
Yeah, kind of some of the things that were already covered. Goaltending is going to be big. Specifically if the Ducks can maintain the level of offense that they had, because that's just that's going to be how they're going to win games. I mean, you got to score to win games, and they are engineered to score a lot of goals. And they've played good defense in some games, and Dostal was good in some games. It's kind of like that game 6. Like if you can repeat that, I think it's reasonable that they can do that, and if they can, they're going to be successful this series. But it's going to be a matter of, can your rush offense be as good as it was against the Oilers? Maybe not, because the Oilers were pretty bad defensively in that series. Their goaltending was pretty bad as well. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. But I think there are ways that this could be a series win for Anaheim, even though a lot of the models are just not favoring them in this series. Like, they are big underdogs, but I do think that this could be a decent matchup for them.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they are still they were the only team that made the playoffs that had a negative goal differential. So it's like it's something that I mean, it didn't bite them against the Oilers, but they did allow quite a few goals. So it's like, can they afford to get into a track meet with the Golden Knights? I don't know. I mean, the Golden Knights do have a lot of that high-end skill as well. So I mean, Mitch Marner had a really good closing out game, and I mean, if he's now going, I mean, you're going to have to deal with him and Jack Eichel and I mean, Mark Stone. I mean, there are all these great players that a track meet might not be the best thing to do, even though the Ducks can probably match it with the players that they got. All right. Speaking of players, I mean, we mentioned Cutter Gauthier. We mentioned I just mentioned Mitch Marner, but Marc, who are you looking at watching in this series? I mean, Mitch Marner kind of maybe broke out his, we all know his reputation in Toronto. He's chokes in the playoffs. He didn't get in that clinching game. He was their best player. So who are you watching going into here?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto people would say, yeah, they won 5-1. Didn't matter. Take away his 2 goals. They still win. No big deal.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, Mitch Marner, he has to be somebody, all jokes aside and Toronto narrative aside. They need consistent goal scoring from those big boys. Jack Eichel, he has 9 points, only 1 goal. Is that something that he can continue to do? Does he need to score more, or are all these helpers fine, right? Marner, obviously. Mark Stone, obviously. Dorofeev is one of those guys where over the last few years, the name came out of nowhere, but now you need him to score, right? Like once every couple games, maybe, right? Like you need him to produce. Like Howden, this guy has just become like a premium. I don't know, premium might be too strong of a word, but he's like a go-to goal scorer for them. So for me, that offense in the top 6, like Barbashev, this is why they brought him in. As the series went on, the game became more and more high scoring, right? And those guys delivered. I do think that what I kind of spoke to before was in 5 of those 6 games, of course, with the last game being the one where they didn't trail, they were playing from behind all series, and they still found a way to win in 6 games. So can these guys start these games? Can they start the goal scoring? Can they score without the pressure of having to play from behind? That'll be something to watch. I also think down the middle with Hurdle, with Dowd, that's really there. Because I actually agree with Justin that I think this matchup for the Ducks is actually pretty good. And I think down the middle for Vegas is your kind of strong suit. But you're just looking to that top 6 to just continue to kind of pick up where they left off with Utah, or against Utah. And sorry, the other one would be just that top 4 with the defense. I think Shea Theodore kind of reasserted himself as one of the premium defenders. And so now you have Rasmus, right? They got the guy. Now he's going to have to continue to kind of rise his game. So defensively, there's no shortage of names that have to step up. But in this series, I just feel like it's my opinion. It's going to be a high scoring series no matter what the defense or the goaltenders do. And that top six of Vegas has to lead the way.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't, like you're saying with Utah, they weren't their best at the beginning of the series, but started turning it on towards the end. So yeah, a lot of those guys. Brett Howden really came out of nowhere in this series to become a goal scorer. Not known as one, but that's where the playoffs. These guys, that's where they make a difference, right? All right, Justin. What about the Ducks? I mean, Cutter Gauthier. I mean, he went and didn't look out of place in the playoffs. Beckett Seneca, I think, can be better heading in. Who are you watching of these? I mean, young guys, veterans through the Ducks here.
I mean, yeah, if you can repeat what you did in round one, again, teams aren't the same, but that's kind of what you're looking to do. Repeat that kind of success. So you're looking at a Cutter Gauthier, you're looking at Jackson Lacombe, you're looking at Leo Carlson, of course, and even Beckett Seneca and Ryan Poehling had a pretty decent series. Yeah. And some of those other defensive guys, like I noticed in Game 6, Trouba made a really good play against McDavid, like in the corner. He starts up a rush, and the Ducks score like almost immediately after. Like those are the kinds of plays that you need from your guys. It's just going to be Dostal. That would be a nice bonus, but they don't need. Maybe in this series, if it's less offense, they'll need him to show up. But overall, they do not need him to steal this series for them. I think if your offense is going, you're going to win the series if your offense is going the way it was last series, and that should be the priority. And it has been really all year long for this Ducks team.
Yeah, I mean, and you're looking at, I mean, therefore the line that shut McDavid down, Washi, Poehling, and missing one guy. But I mean, their bottom six was really good. Matching up against McDavid and Draisaitl and the top guys, and it's going to be something that, I mean, the thing is about the Golden Knights, they don't. I mean, yes, you can match up against Marner, Eichel, but they do have a lot more weapons that you're gonna have to deal with. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Ducks kind of handle that against the Golden Knights. All right, Marc, X factors. I mean, we'll lump the keys to victory here because that's what's probably going to be in the same thing. What's an X factor in this series for the Golden Knights to kind of come out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of an X factor this is by the definition. I think the special teams to me, and I know this is kind of cliche playoff talk, special teams and goaltending. The power play for the Ducks was unreal against the Oilers. And we can talk a lot about the Oilers and their deficiencies. The Oilers were not the Oilers of the past few years, right? They've had issues all year, and the Ducks exposed those issues that the Oilers have had the whole season, right? But at the same time, like that power play kind of came out of nowhere. Like it had spurts in the regular season, but it was phenomenal. And Vegas had a terrific penalty kill at the 93%, right? Including some shorthanded goals in big games down the stretch, or big spots in games down the stretch. The power play for Vegas, though, it was still 20%. And so that's kind of for me is, I just think the Ducks, I just think that the margin for error, the Ducks, you can have all these conversations like we've, and we're happy to. I think the Ducks have a real shot to win this series, and I think if you're looking for margins, this special team battle, this is a phenomenal penalty kill, against a really high flying power play, and so for me, that's going to be the X factor here is how many times can you, and Vegas, like over the years, I believe in the last like 4 or 5 years, they are the least penalized team in the league. They like just are really good at being disciplined and not taking penalties. And so that's going to be really curious for me to watch is how often can you stay out of the penalty box, and when you are not out of the penalty box, so in the penalty box, can you cool down on this power play? Because the Ducks are going to need to use those margins to win these games, and so the opposite is true for the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I mean, special teams are always going to be massive in this series, especially with, I mean, the power play. I keep saying there's not a lot of power plays, but the first round actually had a lot of power plays.
For a lot.
Teams, so it may not be the case, but it might reduce as the rounds go on. Justin, what about you for X factors for the Ducks? And Jeffrey Veal was the other guy that I was thinking of. That's part of that third line that was really good against Connor McDavid. But what are some X factors for you there?
Yeah, that'll be an important line for them. I mean, just all four lines are going to be important, especially in a series where you're underdogs. But I was thinking the same thing. I mean, special teams are going to be important. Of course they are. Like if you, especially again, as an underdog, you need to win in these kind of margins. And special teams has, I feel like in years past for the Ducks, even just last season, the season before this one, their power play was not good. And, special teams just weren't that much of a strength. And then that really changed this season. You can kind of see that right away. Their power play was an actually contributing factor to their offense where it maybe wasn't in years past. You're going to need your power play to show up. Because, again, 5-on-5, maybe they can win that battle. But Vegas is the stronger team there in the regular season. They were the stronger team. At least I believe they were. So, yeah, you're just going to have to win on special teams. That's just the way it's going to have to be.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big thing to watch. And, I mean, the Anaheim Ducks, yeah, it is a big deal. That's probably why they made the playoffs this year, is because their special teams were better, and they haven't always been throughout the last few seasons, right? So that's a big deal. All right, let's go to our series MVP. Marc, who are you naming? You can pick from either team, whoever you think will be the best player in this series.
Yeah, I mean, from the Vegas side of things, I think the low-hanging fruit would be Carter Hart. I just personally don't see it that way. I think that it should be Carter Hart. That's where my mind kind of goes with it. But I think this is going to be a really high scoring series. I think if I'm going Vegas, I want to see Jack Eichel take over some games here. I think the depth of this team has really shown out, and you need depth when it comes to the playoffs. I know once again he has 9 points. He's going to have to start scoring some goals. He can't wait for Dorofeev, who can score goals, no problem. Howden, who is just like, Jesus all of a sudden, awesome. But Jack Eichel and like Mitch Marner, hey man, again, Toronto jokes aside, good on him. Scoring those 2 Game 7 goals. Jack Eichel has to be the driving force here. That's for Vegas, but I'll just say this. I'm kind of giving away my kind of cards here. I think this is going to be Cutter Gauthier, his real breakout. I really do. Not breakout because we all know who the guy is, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I think that there was he was on the first line and then they tried him on the third line, didn't work, put him back on the first line. Quenneville is no stranger to just throwing everything in the blender. If Quenneville gives Gauthier the time to shine, especially on that top line with Carlson, I think he's going to be the MVP of this series. It just feels like he's unstoppable right now. And so I'll give you my Vegas side, but I think for the Ducks, I think Cutter Gauthier is going to have something to say this series.
Yeah, I mean, he was impressive in the first round. So, I mean, he's just has to continue that into this one. Justin, who are you picking series MVP?
Yeah, Gauthier interesting because there were times throughout the year where he was kind of on the first line, maybe on the second line, third line. He was just kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
So deployment's going to matter big time here for like
Yeah.
a true MVP pick. But I can't disagree with Gauthier because, I mean, if the Ducks are going to win this series, their power play is going to have to be big. And who's their best power play goal scorer? It's Gauthier. So, I mean, that's just the pick for me as well.
Yeah, Gauthier is going to be. I mean, obviously, Justin, he was a draft pick of the Flyers, but I didn't want to play for them. I think he's definitely going to be a big factor in this one if the Ducks are going to come out of it for sure. All right, let's finish it. Series predictions. All right, Marc, who are you picking? I know you gave it away, kind of in the series MVP, but you didn't say how many games. So. How many games is this going? Who's winning?
Yeah, listen, I think that Vegas should probably win this series. I think the Edge probably should go. I think they've been there before as a team, right? They have the distance for the most part as a team, this team. The Ducks might be as a team new to this. They're not full of just a bunch of young kids who are just happy to be there. They added playoff caliber players to this mix for a reason. You have the obvious, Kreider, you have Trouba, you have Killorn, who has just like secret league forever and was one Stanley Cup and done his. Vegas has been team to beat all season long, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. The longer they play, the longer I right. So for me, I am happy if Vegas wins. I just think that they've been not consistent all year long. I think that the Ducks, the offense that the Ducks have, I just think that Vegas, I don't know. I just don't think that they can keep up. What I really lean to is it's going to be a high-scoring series. I've said that. Will said that this whole show. Which contender do I have more faith in? I know Hall has not played great. I'd still take Carter Hart, and that's kind of where I lean to. I would prefer to have would prefer to have Dostal on my team, and so when the chips are down, I think that's where I'm going. I'm picking 6 games, and for the sheer fact that I think if it goes 2-7 and it goes back to Vegas, I think Vegas wins. So we'll keep it straight up 6 games. I'm picking the Ducks to win.
All right, Ducks in 6. Justin, who are you picking in this one?
Yeah, I picked Edmonton last time. I'll pick Edmonton. I'll pick the Ducks this time. I mean, they play better than I maybe thought they would. I mean, I thought they'd get the offense going and they'd make it closer than people were expecting, but I didn't expect them to truly dominate the first 4 games the way that they did. So I'll pick Anaheim. We'll go 6 games again. Again, this is not just Vegas has been here before talk. Vegas is legitimately. I mean, they're like, you look at all the models, they favor Vegas by a pretty substantial margin in the series. So statistically, it'll probably go to them. But the Ducks are playing with some fire here, and we'll just see if that momentum continues. I think it could, and I'll pick them for the series.
Well, they've gone against the stats all season. Like I say, this is a team that made the playoffs with a negative goal differential. That does not usually happen. Teams that make the playoffs are usually on the positive side of that ledger, but the Ducks have proven it wrong, and they did it again in the first round. I I think a lot of people were probably picking Oilers coming out of that series too. But I mean, the Ducks have been really good. So I'm going. I keep picking 7 games, so I'm going 7. I was right with the Montreal series. Even though I wasn't on that preview show, I will say I did pick Canadians in 7. But yeah, I'm going to go Ducks in 7. I think this does go 7 games. I think the Golden Knights will put a challenge to the Ducks, of course. Ducks are the underdogs, but I think this series is going to be closer than everyone kind of thinks. And I mean, you guys both picked 6. I'm going to go 7. I like 7 games, even though, I mean, the game 7 against the Canadians, I was wanting the Canadians to win. So that was, I don't like game 7s and I do like them. If that makes sense. But yeah, so I'm going 7 for the Ducks, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, thanks, Marc. Thanks, Justin, for coming on, talking this series as it gets going tonight. As you guys are watching this, quick turnarounds on all these series because a lot of them went deep. 6 or 7 games. There were only 2 sweeps. The rest of them went pretty much the full thing. So we'll see how long these rest of these ones go. But thanks for joining me again. We'll see who's on the next one as we continue through the playoffs. But make sure to check out everything at thehockeywriters.com. We got great articles throughout on this series. We'll be on this series and all the other series that have been completed already. And check out all of our other preview videos as well. But until our next one, we will see you next time.